Welcome back. Let's take you to the UK. British leader Theresa May facing more drama tonight. A vote of no confidence will be debated in her government. It was tabled by opposition Labour Leader Jeremy Corbyn after what he called a catastrophic defeat of Theresa May's Brexit Withdrawal Agreement. Yesterday, a majority, 230 MPs voted against it, 118 of those members of her own Conservative party. That was the difference, in fact, between those who voted yes and no. It was a very strong defeat of Theresa May's Brexit deal. Let's speak to our correspondent Catherine Drew, joining us from London. Catherine, after that crushing defeat, many would say she should just pack her bags and go. What are the chances of survival for Theresa May?
Yes, many have said that she should pack her bags and go. In 6 hours of debate that MPs have been having in the Houses of Parliament, led, of course, by Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the opposition Labour Party, who accused May of leading a zombie government that could not govern. He said she should do the right thing and resign. This was in clashes earlier today. She responded that it was not in the national interest to have a general election. And remember, of course, that we are just 71 days away from the scheduled Brexit, the UK leaving the European Union on the 29th of March. Now, as it stands, even those, the Brexiteers in her own party, who you mentioned earlier, that voted against her legislation yesterday and delivered that resounding defeat, they have said that she will back her in a vote of no confidence. She's also expected to gain the support of the DUP, that's a small Northern Ireland party that prop up her government. So she is expected to win this motion of no confidence. The key questions will be what happens in the days and weeks ahead. Labour have threatened to return and keep tabling motions of no confidence, and if progress is not made one way or the other in the Brexit deal, then it could be that would shake loose some disgruntled Conservative MPs or DUP members to vote against her.
Before we look at Brexit, so you say she's likely to survive, but just give us what the scenario that plays out if she doesn't, because this is a whole cabinet that has to resign, so that triggers elections, correct?
Yes, if she doesn't, if her government doesn't win this motion of no confidence, then she and her cabinet have 14 days to win another vote of confidence. If they don't win within 14 days, then there is a general election. However, during that time, Labour can also try to form a government and win a vote of confidence should the government lose 2 votes of no confidence. So obviously we get into the technicals here. So if they were unable to do that, then we would have the scenario where we would have a general election, unscheduled. Of course, the next one is supposed to be 2020. So that's if she doesn't survive. And we should know in about an hour. The results of the voting will come in about 1 hour's time.
If she survives, Britain is heading towards this no-deal Brexit, causing concern for many. What are the other possibilities here?
Well, there are so many possibilities. If she survives, Theresa May has pledged, after that resounding defeat Tuesday evening, to reach across the House and work with other parties to try to find a coalition position. She said that she knew what MPs were against, but she didn't know what they were for when they voted down her proposed withdrawal agreement, which, let's not forget, took 2 years. She took 2 years to negotiate this with the European Union, and the European Union had signed off on it. So the plan is to reach across the aisles to other parties. However, the Prime Minister is coming in for criticism because one of those people is not Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader, and a lot of the Labour MPs saying that she cannot be serious about trying to build this cross-party coalition if she can't reach out to the Labour leader. People in her party have said that Jeremy Corbyn hasn't shown his hand. They don't know what he wants from Brexit, and that is true. He's been on the fence because in his party, in the Labour Party, he has both Leave and Remain supporters, and he doesn't want to alienate either faction. So if Theresa May wins this vote of confidence, indeed Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour leader, will be in just as much a tricky situation as the Prime Minister.
There's been suggestions of a new referendum, that British people did not know what they were voting for, that they were fed a lot of falsehoods. Has anyone tried to gauge sort of public sentiment or public desire for a whole new referendum?
Yes, there's a very divided again. Certainly there does seem to be growing momentum for a second referendum, a so-called people's vote. And earlier today, around about 72 Labour MPs came out against it. That's why I was saying it's going to be very difficult for Jeremy Corbyn, because increasingly supporters of his party want this second referendum. However, he knows that if he does back that, which would be a major development, he will alienate all the Leave supporters. But that is a growing momentum for a second vote. However, I would say that obviously the country pretty evenly divided between Leave and Remain, and those people who voted to Leave said, no, we have the vote, we won the vote, we want to leave. There's no point going back and asking the country again. Theresa May not keen on a so-called people's vote either, saying that if we think we're facing division now, let's see, posing this question again, basically telling the British public, you got it wrong the first time, try again. So she's not for it either, fearing that the divisions that we've seen in society, the tensions could escalate badly if there were to be a second referendum.
And finally, Catherine, everybody's talking about the dangers of a no-deal Brexit. Do you think authorities on both sides, in Britain, in the rest of Europe, will allow that to happen by any chance?
Well, an interesting development on Tuesday night when Theresa May was so roundly defeated. She said that she wanted to reassure people that she was not running down the clock. She was not interested in a no deal. Now, that is very different rhetoric to what we've heard for the past 2 years, where she was saying that no deal is better than a bad deal. I think there is a growing consensus, and quite a strong one in Parliament, that no deal could cause absolute chaos in ports, people trying to travel, the transportation of goods, the importation, the export of goods, with medicines, what would happen with airports. There is an acknowledgement that this could actually cause severe economic harm and chaos. And so it's looking like many MPs who are against the no deal really trying to flex their muscles and take control. And there is talk of amendments to rule out a no deal. However, it's a very tricky triggering that Article 50 that set the clock going. We have that March 29th deadline, and the only answer to a no deal would be to push back and ask for a delay of Article 50, something Theresa May has ruled out. So a very tricky situation all round.
All right, it is indeed. Thank you very much, Catherine Drew, and she'll tell us what happens in an hour or so. Will she or won't she survive Theresa May and her government facing a no-confidence vote in Parliament there?